Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch. This is another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. Guys, we're gonna have a new hero rebalance coming to the game in Season 4. Now, as usual, the hero rebalance will affect all of the seasons. So it's not gonna be only for Season 4, right? So I want to kind of like dive into all of the changes that are coming for these particular heroes. I actually had a look at every freaking hero in the game, guys, okay? To check every single one of them, because I was just looking at Raa, and all of a sudden I was like, wait, this is not what Raa does. She got a buff, right? And I was like, I'm using Raa every single season. I love that champion, right? And I was like, what the heck? She got a buff, okay? So we're gonna get to that in a second. But let me just quickly walk you through a few different heroes that are on the list. I do want to start with one of them that I was pretty excited for in Season 2. And then I ended up in never, ever using that character, okay? And I summoned him quite a few times. I'm talking about Dalk. So this one, it looks so freaking good on paper, but in the end, it turned out he was a bit of a disappointment. So I will put the skills from the older versions on the screen for you guys as well, so you can see them just a bit smaller. So right here on this passive, nothing actually really changed, right? Attacks the enemy with the highest attack. He will basically put a decreased attack penalty on the target and will lose 1 stack every 30 seconds. The battle skill still seems to be pretty much the same, to just bring in the attack penalty, but the ultimate actually changed, guys. So right here before, the hero was basically putting an accuracy bonus up for 10 seconds. Then he used to deal 820% attack necrotic damage to the enemy with the highest max HP, with a chance to inflict recharge speed penalty on them for 10 seconds. So that is the buff on this hero for the moment. He basically gained a recharge speed penalty debuff for 10 seconds on the ultimate. He still has a chance to basically reduce the ultimate energy. The main thing that I kind of like don't understand, right, is you're gonna put that banish on the target. Why do you need a recharge speed penalty too? How will that necessarily play out? I feel like if the recharge speed penalty would have been AoE or something like that, it would have been much, much better. I still think he's pretty trashy. Even though I got excited for this banish thing, I do think that he's not very exciting as a character. Then we do have the next one that got a buff on the list here, guys, and that is Torin. So Torin is a pretty solid healer anyway. They made him better. So basically, with the passive, he marks an ally, okay? As the battle starts, marks an ally and enhances the first ally in front of the hero, granting them 25% of his own stats and gaining invisibility, sorry. So this is pretty much the same. Now, the battle skill is what changed here from what I've noticed. Heals the ally with the lowest HP, which was pretty much the same amount, and then heals the marked ally of 7.5%, 1200 enlightenment. Before was just healing that and calling it a day. He still had a chance to dispel one debuff, but right now, when healing marked allies, there is a 100% chance to dispel. So it's pretty much kind of like the same thing. They've just added a first part where you're basically gaining healing on the ally with the lowest HP and on the marked ally. So you're basically getting healing on 2 different characters. That's kind of like what changed so far. In terms of the ultimate skill, is identical. Nothing really changed in here, guys. So they're not crazy buffs or anything like that, but they are noticeable, and trust me, the healing especially is going to be massive. Then moving over to the next one, I can tell you, I'm excited that this one finally got a buff. I am talking about Trollgar, guys. And again, it's not a crazy buff or anything like that, but he did got a buff, okay? And that's the main thing. So right here, with the passive, he still has the exact same thing, 250% attack. It's all about the frost, right? The battle skill, still pretty much the same. Jumps at the enemy with the lowest current HP, has a chance to inflict frost, and recharges the hero's ultimate energy. The ultimate skill, on the other hand, is what changed, guys. And you might not notice it straight off the back if you're kind of like paying attention to it. But basically, he's gonna jump, deal 250% attack damage. That's exactly how it was before. Then he will dispel a frost from the enemies within range and deal attack cold damage to them. Was exactly the same before. Now, instead of dealing 250% attack, is gonna deal 500% attack, which will make him an absolute monster at dealing AoE damage, okay? Because they just doubled the damage on this hit. Plus, of course, as it used to be before, for each Dispelled Frost, he's going to ignore 20% of the target's defense. And was exactly the same before, but right now, they've basically just added 500% attack right here instead of the 250 that it was before. So this is already a much better thing on him. He will deal a lot of damage with this skill. Then moving over to the next one, guys, we do have a Gner that got a buff as well, from what I've seen. I haven't really used this hero in the past, guys, but I feel like he was pretty underwhelming even before, right? So he wasn't too interesting as a tank. I've tried him a couple of times in PvP tournaments and stuff where I kind of like had him available on the account, but I never really felt like, oh my god, he's such an amazing tank or anything like that, you know? So he actually got quite a few changes, especially the passive. So before, how you may notice on the screen as well on the side, that's what he had in the past. But now the hero gains 20% damage reduction when the granted shield takes damage from enemies. There's a 40% chance to inflict attack penalty on the damage dealer for 5 seconds. When inflicting this state, ignores 25% of their resistance. This is actually a very nice passive without having a specific cooldown or anything like that. It can become a very good attack down tank. Hands down, no questions asked anymore. Very good attack down tank. With a battle skill, grants ally protection and control immunity to the ally with the highest crit damage for 10 seconds. If I'm not mistaken, this used to be exactly the same in the past. Just ally protection, just no control immunity. So right now we gained control immunity on this skill, which is nice for PvP. Then grants a 15% target's max HP shield for 10 seconds and defense up to the hero and this ally. And defense, yeah, this used to be the same. This skill is guaranteed to be cast as the battle starts, and skill movements are not required during this, which is pretty much the same, just in a different wording. So basically, instantly use this skill, which is nice. Then you have the ultimate, deals damage, defense damage to all enemies, and reduces their ultimate energy. And before was pretty much the same, but he used to inflict attack penalty with the ultimate skill. Now instead of that, you are inflicting attack penalty with the passive, which is much better in my opinion. Then, moving over to Raa, the one that kind of like signaled what's happening. So basically, they gave her a buff, and I'll take it. I use Raa every single season. I love this freaking character, and she's gonna be even better. So basically, before, with the passive, guys, how you may notice on the screen, she was reducing the damage by 6% for each debuff, all the way up to 5 debuffs. Now, straight off the back, you're just going to basically reduce the damage from everybody that's coming your way by 10%. I'll take that. And every debuff inflicted on them additionally reduces the damage dealt by 5% up to 5 stacks. So it's basically almost the same thing. It's even better because it's 35% now, and you don't need to apply debuffs. So before, was very hard to apply multiple debuffs to make the most out of this passive, especially in the Vortex. So now with a decreased accuracy, with a decreased attack, with a defense down, bang, you're just going to have a 25% damage reduction straight off the back, which is massive. Then you have the battle skill, which, if I'm not mistaken, it might be exactly the same. I doubted that anything changed in here. You still have the accuracy penalty, the attack penalty. What changed is the ultimate. So the ultimate was very strong before too. Was cleansing all of the debuffs, was giving you increased defense, and was extending the duration of all of the debuffs on the enemy target by 5 seconds. That's how I was constantly keeping the defense up on my Vortex team, you know, for like 15 seconds, really bringing in a lot of damage, cleansing, increased defense was massive. But right now, on top of all that, they're basically bringing in 100% chance to put recharge speed penalty on all enemies for 5 seconds. All enemies, not just one, all. And then extends the duration of that as well by 5 seconds. So that is actually really awesome, man. It's such a better thing. Even for PvP now, I feel like she's going to be more interesting for the passive, and because of this ultimate skill that will put recharge speed penalty on everyone. I do think is a pretty nice buff on Raa. And yeah, I'm super fortunate that I managed to summon this hero, and I feel like not a lot of people are actually giving her the desired love. She's an amazing, amazing character, and people are either sleeping on her, either they just don't like her for whatever reason. Then we have another buff on Stegamuffin. The last hero that we have on the buff list. I literally went through every single hero, guys, and I haven't found any epics. I haven't looked much at the rares, but throughout of all of the legendaries and all of the epics, these 6 heroes are the ones that are getting the rebalance. Sorry. So Stegamuffin, he was trash. I hope he's not gonna be as trash anymore. Basically, he used to have like 2 million debuffs on the passive. Right now, you're only gonna have attack penalty, healing prohibition, or buff prohibition. The whole thing still works in the exact same way, more or less, because it's a random debuff selected from here. Then the battle skill will give you attack speed up. This changed quite a bit because for the older version, you did not have this, how you may notice on the screen. But right now, you're going to get the attack speed up for 6 seconds. You're going to deal damage to the enemy with the highest attack. You're going to mark the enemy for 6 seconds. Then, when the enemy is being marked, the hero's basic attack shoots extra arrows to them and deals poison damage. So that's about it. Pretty straightforward. Then you have the ultimate, and right here, if I'm not mistaken, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, nothing really changed in here, guys. But that's pretty much everything for this hero rebalance, guys. Coming in the next patch, 21st of June, together with Season 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would definitely love to see some hero rebalance on some of the epic characters. Like we have Brody, which is pretty trash. You have Fira, which is pretty trash. You have quite a few of them that are pretty trashy. I would love to see a bit of a buff on Liko as well to be a better healer for the fire element, you know, and just see a few of the poison ones being buffed a little bit. Sifris maybe, to have a better healing rather than killing herself, you know. A Shink, a bit of a buff. And there are tons of different epics that I would like to see buffed. Hopefully, the devs will listen in the near future. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.